So what can I say about Hell's Paradise? A series produced by Viz Media where the main plot is focused on a bunch of criminals put on an island to find the elixir of life. But the thing is, only one of them can return home with it. Just the premise alone sounds fire. What's up, you guys? Chase the Dark Sage here, and today we're back with another video, and in today's video I will be talking about Hell's Paradise by the mangaka Jigokuraku. This series is getting an anime adaptation soon by Mappa, and some of them fight scenes, I know Mappa will give some of them felons some justice in that anime. Get it? Because you know what? Just send me to the island with the criminals from how bad that joke was. I'll just get back with the video. But before we actually get into Hell's Paradise, and before I give you my thoughts and opinions on the series, go ahead, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and go ahead and like this video to help your boy in the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to follow me on all my other social media platforms. All my links will be in the description down below. So, let's go ahead and talk about Hell's Paradise. But as usual with these reviews, I'm gonna have to give you guys a forewarning that this will be a spoiler-free review. That means I won't be getting into some of the nitty-gritty stuff that really happens. I won't be getting into some of the details that happen within this series, and I'll be timestamping all of my talking points in the description down below, so that way if you want to skip to me talking about the plot, me talking about the characters, my pros and cons, my final verdict, you go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead and start off with the plot of Hell's Paradise. The story starts off with our main character, Gabimaru the Hollow, a shinobi from Jigokuraku, facing death row. He's long forgotten why he's living, but soon comes to his senses on the brink of death. After realizing his purpose of wanting to be alive, he is given one more chance by the Shogun of Japan to find the elixir of life, which would grant the Shogun immortality, and Gabimaru will be excused of all of his crimes. Gabimaru, along with other criminals, are given this option and shipped to the mysterious island rumored to have this elixir, but only one can return with it. Along with the criminals, they are partnered with monitors, swordsmen from the Asamon clan, tasked to kill the criminals if they were to act out of agreement. One thing these criminals and monitors didn't expect to come from this island are the weird creatures and mysterious atmosphere that accompany it. Also, the elixir of life isn't even confirmed to be real. So will Gabimaru be able to have his crimes excused, or will he be consumed by the island? Honestly, I'm gonna say, after hearing that premise, just off of that, that's what really drew me into wanting to check out Hell's Paradise, because it's not like a shonen underdog series where I want to be the Hokage or I want to be the king of the pirates. It's not something where it has a grand goal. He just wants a simple life. He wants his freedom back, essentially, and he wants all of his crimes to be erased. And I can respect that, and that's honestly entertaining. I know that going into the series that I'm not going to be messing with some goody two-shoe characters. Well, I mean, I will with the Asamon and the monitors, but when it comes to the actual main characters, the criminals that are on this island, they're criminals for a reason. And so now that we got the plot out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some of the characters. And honestly, in this video, I'm only gonna be talking about 2 of the characters because there are plenty of characters to talk about. But honestly, this series is so short. So if I talk about all those characters that are in the series, which a lot of them are really likable, and I really enjoyed a lot of this cast, it will take a little while throughout this video. So I'm only gonna talk about 2 characters, which are the main characters of this series, Gabimaru the Hollow and Sagirin. So let's start off with Gabimaru the Hollow. He is a shinobi from Jigokuraku who is known all across the land and isn't afraid of death. One day before his life is truly threatened, he realizes why he should keep living and goes to the island to get that elixir. He believes no one can stop him. He is very capable of making you believe that. Trust me, Gabimaru is a beast in this manga. Oh my gosh, that boy is a dog. Anytime you see him go in go mode, oh, he goes in go mode. There ain't nothing stopping him. And last character I want to talk about is Sagirin, an executioner slash swordsman from the Yamada Asamon clan, assigned to monitor Gabimaru and behead him if he was to act out of line. I guess you could say that could really seem like a big headache. Get it? Because she's supposed to behead him if he acts out of line and headache. Let's go ahead and continue with the things I liked and disliked about this series, because I know some of my jokes are just horrible. Let's go ahead and talk about my pros and my cons. My first pro is that the adventure itself is a journey that is unique and interesting while learning with the other characters themselves. Secondly, each character, for the most part, all feel unique and have their own personality, whether it be the criminals or the monitors. I'm glad to say that the main character wasn't my overall favorite character. Now, I'm not gonna lie, he is a beast. I'm not gonna say that he's not a beast, but there are some other characters that I really had some great moments with, some really fun times with, and honestly, I could feel for some of these other characters that are in this series themselves. Thirdly, there is no character that's a true hero, meaning no high sense of morality that feels cliche, unless we're gonna go with the monitors. But honestly, I loved the criminals so much more than the monitors, but the monitors do have this character development / growth that happens within this series, and honestly I feel for them as well, especially from where they come from to where they're at now, especially on this island with criminals who are the only people that can aid them on getting off this island. And my fourth and last pro has to be Tao, the power system introduced around volumes 3 or 4. Really adds a shonen action element I love. It's very similar to how Nen from Hunter x Hunter works, and I loved it. Tao gives me a lot of vibes like from Pokemon, where you know, water beats fire, fire beats earth or plant or whatever, and plant beats water. It's kind of all like that, but it has all the elements, and every single character basically has a different element, and they have to team up with other characters in order to utilize both of their elements, tag team them, and having to use that against the villain. I thought that was a very creative way to actually do this series right here. But now with all my pros out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some of the cons that I had with Hell's Paradise. And there's a few, it's not a lot, but let me go ahead and actually get into them. My first con has to be the exposition scenes. They can sometimes be boring or uninteresting at times. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a month to get through Hell's Paradise. And it's not more than 130 chapters. And each of those chapters are about 20 pages. It took me a month to get through it. I'm just gonna leave that right there. I will say that sometimes I wanted to read Hell's Paradise, and sometimes the pacing was there. When it got to them exposition scenes and them explaining the lore of the island, sometimes it was interesting, but the other times, the villain or villains don't come off as menacing or as interesting. These villains weren't even mid. They were kind of subpar. I didn't really care for the villains. And my third and last con, there are 2 plot elements I didn't like that were implemented in the story that I felt made it a bit less concentrated on what the plot tries to focus on. It doesn't make or break the story, but I felt the narrative and character building could have been a lot stronger if it weren't for these elements being introduced in the later half. I thought that the story was strong and great where it already was, but when these 2 elements were actually introduced, I was just like, why? That I feel like you're just putting a little extra sauce on it that don't need to really be on there. Now, I will say that it does add for more tension and it adds for more problems within the series. I get it, and it adds for a little bit more motivation for some of the characters. But I just felt like the narrative could have been a lot stronger without that other added plot element. And I just felt like the one other plot element that they added really wasn't necessary, especially with the outcome of how the story goes. But now let's go ahead and get into the verdict, my final verdict, and what I fully thought about Hell's Paradise. Overall, I had a good time with Hell's Paradise. The action scenes were fierce and epic, while the exposition scenes kind of dragged a bit. This manga is a little more wordy than I'm used to, and I have no problem with wordy manga. It's just when it's wordy and uninteresting that's where I start to check out. It's a short story that packs in a good amount for a shonen action series, and doesn't necessarily follow the underdog story, but more so of a criminal trying to gain his free life back from a mysterious killer island. I'm gonna have to give Hell's Paradise a 7 out of 10. Alright guys, but that's about it for Hell's Paradise. Let me know what you guys thought about Hell's Paradise. If you read it, let me know if you're going to read it, or let me know if you're just going to watch the anime. Honestly, from after reading the manga, that the anime would be a better route to go with this series. Now, the anime isn't out by the time I'm recording this video or putting this video out, but I will say that with Mappa doing the anime, it's probably going to be done really, really well. Think about all the greatness Mappa has given to us. And now think about Hell's Paradise and some of those fiery action scenes. You get it? Because one of the powers that Gabimaru has is fire, the aesthetic blaze. There's a reason I'm not a comedian, why I'm a YouTuber. Thank you guys for watching. If you are new to the channel, you haven't already, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, post notification bell, like the video, and I gotta give a huge shout out to my Patreon pledgers for going ahead and financially supporting the channel. Guys, I highly appreciate what you guys are doing for me, financially donating on Patreon, and I gotta give a huge shout out to the YouTube members for also financially donating on the YouTube side of things as well. Big shout out to Broke Boy Gang because, well, you're not really gonna go broke buying this series, but I will say be patient for the restocks because currently I'm looking for volume 4. I have all the other volumes but volume 4, but I believe it should be coming back out around October, so I should have the full set complete in the collection. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Dark Sage out. Peace.